how we can use the screen's width to trigger different parameters in our CSS. Okay, so here's our setup. We have a very simple scene. It's just an H1 and a CSS file. We've opened that up in Chrome. And the first thing we're going to do is inspect. And I'm going to click this button down here, which turns on the responsive testing, right? So we can kind of look at our design at different screen resolutions. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to go up here and we're going to show, if it's hidden, we're going to show media queries. Okay, so how this works is it's at media, and then this, open and close parentheses. This is the condition by which the media query becomes active. So we'll start with min width of 450 pixels. And then this is what do you want to have happen at that setting. So we can see here that when we get to this width here, something will happen. And what will happen is up to us. So if I say H1, color, red, now what should happen is once it's more than 450 pixels, it'll turn red. So one thing we need to determine is, are we starting from the mobile first, the narrow, perhaps simpler layout, into the more complex one, which it all depends on what you're going for. If the primary function of your website is for the computer, then you would probably start with desktop first. In our case here, I think mobile first is a little simpler and a little easier to build out. So in our case, as it gets to a wider size, it changes. If we wanted to do desktop first, we'd just do the reverse. So instead of min width, it would be max width. So now as it gets past that point, it changes. And so then the trick is, depending on if you're going min or max, you have subsequent breakpoints further down in the code, further down in the lines of code, and then wider out as they go. So this one will be blue. And 6. So it starts, it hits one width, turns red, hits another width, turns blue. And for our purposes, if we're doing more than 2 breakpoints, it's probably too complicated at this stage in the game. Okay.